Going for a run the other day in the park, and the trouble with these days, it gets lighter and lighter so that I become more easy to recognise under my beanie hat. And some fit young geezer shot past me, looking actually a bit, not much hair, he looked a bit like one of my former advisors. And he sang out a cheery London greeting. Wanga, he said. And I am normally impervious to these types of things, but I'm afraid this time I seethed and I thought, you rotter. I thought, it's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful park, and the sun is just peeping over the gorgeous London skyline, for much of which I gave planning permission. The swans and the coots are all innocently doing their thing, and you have to go and be so rude. And do we have to put up another sign by the one that says, don't feed the ducks, saying don't shout at the politicians? If you doubt what I'm saying, then just try to imagine Vladimir Putin, with or without his T-shirt, running around Red Square and being shouted at. And what would they do? Would they do that? Would they shout? They shouted? I mean, they wouldn't. They would scatter from his path like pigeons. Of course, people should be vigilant about freedom of speech when we're bowdlerising Roald Dahl. But nothing and no one is going to stop me reciting the song of the Oompa Loompas about Augustus Gloop, which you all remember. Augustus Gloop, the great big greedy nincompoop. So what's wrong with that? If you give back the Elgin marbles to Greece, then you leave a huge gap in that narrative. And above all, you have no answer in the years ahead to the theoretical claims for restitution from Egypt and Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Turkey, Nigeria, everywhere whose treasures are housed in Bloomsbury. And suddenly, in trying to please the world and correct thinking, you've deprived the world of one of its great treasures. And I used to make a joke about how they once arrested Prince Andrew in the shrubbery of Buckingham Palace, which I thought was pretty funny, until they actually fined me for having lunch at my place at the cabinet table in 10 Downing Street. Although I still don't understand the rationale behind it, I do understand the key point, that the law is enforced here without fear or favour. You can try. I think democratic socialism is the programme for Keir Starmer's Labour Party, though I'm not sure. I don't want to offend the human bollard and wind him up even more than I have done already. The great Sir Crasharoonie Snoozefest, as I call him. By the way, I just want to just to point out, purely for accuracy, when I stepped down, we were only a handful of points behind the Labour Party at that moment back in July. I'm just saying that. It was the free Western open societies, tend to be the winners in the soft power index, that produced the vaccines that actually work. And by the way, I think everyone should feel free to point this out. I made this point in Singapore not long ago, and it was felt to be so controversial that the organisers actually had to apologise. And the Guardian said, I hope the Guardian's here, the Guardian said my speech was shocking. I just want to check everybody's all right with me saying that. I mean, and then the Guardian is bearing up. In all the great power centres of our country, what used to be called the establishment, the bishops, the BBC. Yeah, I hope I'm not, being too controversial here. The CBI. Most readers of the Times, I'm told, were in favour. 70 or 80% of the readers of the Times were in favour of Remain. Most MPs, vast majority of members of the House of Lords, massively pro-Remain. Remember? I don't know what the balance would be in this distinguished audience. But as soon as that happened, there was a concerted attempt to reverse it, or at least to stop the UK leaving properly. And there's no point now in just emulating the high-tax, high-spend, low-growth European model. We should think not about raising corporation tax, but cutting corporation tax to Irish levels or lower, and really turbocharging investment to drive levelling up across the whole country.